Okay, we are going to start our Sunday roast dinner. Now, in the previous video I did the mashed potatoes. I also did some stuffing off camera. And these are two roasts that I bought a while back ago and froze. They are top round roast, and this one is 3.5 pounds and this one is 2.3 pounds. So I am going to go ahead and roast both of those, and I thought I would do that in my Ninja Foodie slow cooker. Of course, I do have a very nice crock pot, but I wanted to try my Foodie. So we'll just go ahead and pop my roasts in there. Now, when we got one onion, so we're gonna I chopped that one onion coarsely, and I'm gonna put that in there. Now, this is a 2-pound bag of baby carrots, so I'm gonna use probably half of those. It's about a pound of baby carrots. I don't know, I'll just put them all in there. You don't have to use them all. They're not freeze dry. Alright. I got a 32-ounce package of beef broth. I'm going to pour that in there. And that did not cover those two roasts, so I am going to put a second box in there. I have 2 boxes because I do not want a dry roast. So basically you want to cover that roast with liquid. And since there's 2 in there, it's taking quite a bit of liquid. And we're going to make a lot of gravy out of that anyway. Because for my Sunday roasts, I like to have a lot of gravy. Alright, so let's turn the power on. Go ahead and close the lid on that. I'll put my onions in there. That fell out the side. Okay. Put this on slow cook. I'm going to put that on low. We're going to go for 8 hours. And press start. Alright, that's all there is to it. I'll see you in 8 hours, and this will switch over to keeping it warm at 8 hours. So tomorrow's lunch is going to be pot roast, and then we're going to freeze dry a bunch of it. I'll see you then. Okay, it's Sunday morning and the roast is done. So I'm going to fish that out. And set it off to the side. I'm going to take my vegetables and get those out of here. Because we're freeze drying, I need to separate all that fat from the stock. Otherwise, I would go ahead and make my gravy using that stock just as it is. But because we're freeze drying, I need to put this in the fridge and get rid of that fat. So that's my next step. I'm going to put that in the freezer and get this cold enough to where that fat will come to the top and solidify. So I'll see you when that comes to that step. Okay, so we now have our vegetables strained out. We have put our broth into a big pitcher and in the freezer so we can get that cold and the fat will come to the top and solidify. and we're left with these two roasts. And they look really good. But with the Ninja Foodie, I've never tried this before, but I might as well, you know. I thought I'll put these roasts in the broiler and just put a nice crispy coating on the outer part of this roast. Kind of pretty them up a little bit. I'm going to use the wire rack that came with the Foodie. See if we can get both of these in there. I mean, this is tender. I'm going to open the Foodie up. Put the rack in there. Turn the power on. Switch that to broil. 450 degrees, 10 minutes. We'll just go ahead and go with that. Press start. Probably about 5 minutes. I'll just give that a little turn in there and get the other side roasted up. And I'll see you when it's done. Check that out. Does that look like a nice roast or what? So, only thing left to do is cut this. Oh yeah, that's going to be nice. I wonder if I should cut it this way. Look at that. Oh, that looks good. That broiling just put a nice crispy outside on that and tender on the inside. So, we're just waiting on my gravy to solidify the fat, and we'll get that done, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so we got my 2 trays of roast beef here. Off camera, I used the Ninja Foodie, and I mixed up 2 boxes of stovetop chicken stuffing, and according to the box directions, except for I substituted my butter powder for butter in the stuffing. Other than that, it was exactly as the box directions were. Those are in the freezer right now, freezing. And then I took my carrots and onions that I got from the pot roast and dumped them in my Foodie, and then I added 2 bags of peas, frozen peas, and brought that to a good boil and cooked those peas. And it is ready now. We got that on pounds, so we're going to tray up our peas and carrots with onions. And I'm going to put 2.5 pounds, if I can get it on that much, on the tray. We use the saute mode for baking both our stuffing and for this. There's this setting called saute, and then you can put I just did it on high, which brought the liquid to a boil. That's all there was to that. There you have it. So let those cool down. That'll all go in the freezer here in a little bit. I have quite a bit of vegetables left over, but we'll be eating those during the week. So far we got the mashed potatoes, which was my last video. We got my stuffing. We got my roast beef. We got our vegetables. Only thing left is the gravy, and I'm still waiting for that to solidify in the refrigerator. So I'll see you when that is solidified. Okay, as you can see, there isn't a lot of fat on there in a lean top round roast, but we'll get the fat that we got off of here. This has been sitting in the freezer a few hours, and all that fat has come to the top and solidified. Okay, this is the vegetable stock I have left over from my peas and carrots. I just added, probably about 4 cups of water to cover the peas, and I dumped the carrots in there. They had still some of the beef stock on it, so I'm going to use that water there, kind of like a vegetable broth with a little bit of beef in it. And this is 8 cups that I'm adding to that. And this sludge in the bottom, that's all beef from that pot roast. So we're going to put that in there. Give that a good stir. And now I'm going to bring that up to a boil. Let's see if I turn it where you can see a little bit of it. And me still see what's going on. We're going to put that on sear saute, high. Press start, and we're going to bring that to a boil. While that's coming to a boil, I am going to mix up a cornstarch slurry. Now, I'm not going to make this a super thick gravy. You can make it as thick as you want. But I want it to be a little bit runny because I want to pour it over everything. So, I'm not going to make it super thick. If you watch I think I did a video called Chicken and Gravy Meal in a Mylar Bag. You'll see that you can make a nice thick gravy and reconstitute it thickly using the cornstarch. I'm pretty sure I used cornstarch in there. I may have used flour, but it's the same process. I just grabbed that measuring spoon. That's 1/3 of a cup. So I'm going to probably put, with that much liquid, a little over 1/3 of a cup of cornstarch. I'll splash some cold water in there. I didn't really measure that. I'm just going to mix that up until it's a nice slurry. Now you must use cold water for the slurry. And you have to put it in a very hot boiling liquid. So once that comes up to a boil, we'll give this another good stir and be putting that in there. So I'll see you then. Okay, that's starting to boil. And just for your information, on the side there, this is marked, and it says I got 16 cups of broth in there. So let me stir this up again. And before I mentioned that I'm using cornstarch here, and you can use flour. The only difference between cornstarch and flour is if you use flour to make your slurry, you need to cook this for at least 10 minutes so it cooks that flour, the raw flour. But with cornstarch, you don't have to do that. So I'll pour that in there, and we'll just cook that. And if I need to, I'll add a little bit more. So I am going to thicken that up a little bit more. There's another 1/3 of a cup, so that's 2/3 of a cup of cornstarch. Get some cold water. Add that. You want to get that diluted and stirred very well so that you don't end up with lumps in your gravy. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So we'll turn the heat off, let that cool down, and I'm going to do 2 4-cup trays of gravy, and I should have some left over. So I won't bother you with showing me tray that up. What I'll do is once that's cooled down, I will put my tray in the freezer and fill it in the freezer. That way I don't have to try and not spill it getting it over to the freezer. So I'm going to let this cool before I try and get that in the freezer. So next time you see all this, it'll be coming out of the freeze dryer, and we'll be packaging up and doing a taste test. I'll see you then. Okay, there we have it. My roast beef and my gravy. So the first thing I'm going to do with this gravy is we are going to powderize that and get that out of the atmosphere pretty quick, because it's very light and fluffy, so it'll want to absorb any moisture. Luckily it's not too humid today. So what I do is I take it, put it in a Ziploc bag. I found it the easiest. Squeeze as much air out of it as I can. Get my rolling pin. Just turn that into a nice powder. And what this is going to do, make that easy to reconstitute, but also the added advantage is, by turning this into a powder, is if there is any moisture in there, I'm going to see that very quickly as I'm rolling this out. There you have it. That is 8 cups of gravy, all down to that pretty little powder. So we're going to set that aside, since it is now out of the atmosphere. Get rid of that air. Set that aside and we'll package that in a minute. Now I'm going to make 6 meals, so I'm going to divide this into 6 portions, kind of. 3 portions per tray. So we'll go 1, this is just rough. 2, 3. Alright, so put these in my meal pouch bag. As you can see, that's very delicate. I'll get these all packaged up. We'll then come back and open them up. Open the package, put a 300cc O2 absorber in there, and then I'll do a zip them lock again and do a heat seal on them. So I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so now we're ready to do my gravy. What I thought I'd do is I want 6 portions of this. Now that's going to be a lot of gravy, but I want a lot of gravy for my Sunday roast dinner. So I'm going to weigh this powder. Which is 190 grams. And we're going to divide that by 6. 6, 12, 18 would be 3. 6 and 10. So about 31 grams we're going to put in each pouch. So put that on there, get a tare, and put 31 grams in there. And let me stand these pouches up. That's 10, 17, 25, 30. It says I just spilled some of that, but we're going to call that good. That's 30 grams. We'll Ziploc these shut for now until we get it all packaged. Then I'll open those back up and put a 300cc O2 absorber in there. Pretty much I just use 300cc's. That's what I buy. Okay, there's my gravy all packaged. Now we're going to get those into our big gallon bag. What we got in here is I got, let's see, we got mashed potatoes, vegetables, stuffing, an accessory pack, my roast beef, and now we're going to put a gravy in there. And it is going to be a tight fit, but we'll get it in there because, I mean, gravy, you can flatten it out and I'll find a pocket in there somewhere. So let me package the rest of these up and I'll be right back. Okay, so we got it all in there. What I like to do, just as a precaution, I know it seems like kind of like a waste, but I am going to throw another 300cc O2 absorber in the outer package of this. That way if any of my bags get a leak, that's going to kind of compensate, hopefully, and not have create any problems. Let me get this zip shut, which is a bit of a task now because that's a pretty full bag. But as you see, I got it all in there. So I'll do these other 6 bags, then I'll throw a heat seal on that, and I'll be right back. There you have it. 6 Sunday roast dinners. So, only thing left for me to do is put these away, and then I'll come back later this afternoon when I'm ready for my Sunday roast dinner, and we'll reconstitute this. I'll see you then. Okay, it is Sunday afternoon, and it's time for my Sunday pot roast. Now, who remembers, maybe it's just because I'm an old man, the family getting together and having a huge Sunday roast dinner. I kind of miss those days. But let's open up my Sunday roast dinner meal in a Mylar bag. Okay, that's what we got in it. It's really packed inside this gallon bag. So let's pull things out. Alright, there's my roast. There's my accessory packet. My gravy. My mashed potatoes. My veggies. And my stuffing. And the O2 absorber that I put inside the gallon bag just in case any of those bags got a leak. Okay, let's open up our accessory packet. These I put together. I have a video on what I put in these. If you look up accessory packet, how I pack my accessory packets. But we got a spoon and a fork and a paper napkin, a straw for our drink. Our drink, in this case it's sweet tea. I use a paper towelette. Somewhere in here I got, this is my salt. I got a pepper in there, there it is, and a pepper. Now these bags I got off of Amazon, and one of my viewers suggested them to me. I was using just a normal Mylar pouch, and it was really hard to poke my hole in it for my straw, which I was using a coffee stirrer. And they told me about these bags that they actually sell on Amazon, and they are designed for drinks. And it's got a little soften spot right there for you to put your straw in, kind of like the old Capri Suns. So it comes with the bag and a straw that is individually wrapped, you know, in the package. So I think they come in a pack of 100. I can't remember, but they are on in my store if you're interested in looking at those. And there's a link to my Amazon store in the description box below the video. But I put enough sweet tea powder in here, and this is just from the can. It's sweetened already, you know, the Lipton's canned sweet tea. I don't put no O2 absorber in there because it's mostly sugar. And I put enough in there for 12 fluid ounces, which is a cup and a half. So we just open that up. I got a cup and a half of cold water here. And we'll pour that in. Give that a seal. Give that a good shake, get it all mixed up. And we'll set that off to the side for now. Alright. Now I've got a kettle of boiling water here, and we're going to reconstitute all this stuff. So first let's do our roast. Get that rehydrating. That's probably the one that's going to take the longest. Dig out my O2 absorber. That's what it looks like on the inside there. We are just going to, I'll put a cup, I don't know, we'll see. I'll put a cup in the measuring cup and we'll see how much water I put in there. Ooh. As soon as you put that water in there, I'm going to put the whole cup, it just gives off that lovely beef smell. Now I'm going to ziplock this shut. Give that a good shake so everything gets some water on it. And set that off to the side. The veggies. I can probably tear this one. This was a thinner. My bother. It's a thinner Mylar. Take out my O2 absorber. That's what the veggies look like on the inside. And again, we'll put a cup of water in here, and I don't know how much will go in the pouch. We'll see. We're going to totally cover the veggies. Ziplock that shut. Now these bags, I bought some off Amazon a while back, and I don't know if this is the one that leaks. No, this one's pretty good, so we'll give those a shake and set those off to the side. My gravy. My old hands just cannot tear this Mylar anymore. Can't grip it. There's a lot of gravy in here, which is what I wanted. Okay, pull out my O2 absorber. That's what it looks like in there, just basically a powder. We powderized with my rolling pin. And let's start with just we'll go a half a cup. Let's see what that comes out like. Half a cup there. Ziplock that shut. Make sure it's not going to leak. Now on these pouches, when you got a powder, you need to make sure that you get water down in these grooves right here when it's a gusseted bag. So I just give it a squeeze, make sure all that gets some water in there. Ooh, that's hot. I'm just going to give that a knead. Hopefully I didn't make that too runny. Kind of feels runny in the bag. Set that off to the side. Now this is my stuffing. And the stuffing I just made stovetop stuffing according to the box direction, but I did use powdered butter instead of regular butter. And I don't think it's going to take too much water. I got 1 cup of water left in here, don't I? And I got a half a cup of water. Let's see what that does with it. We don't want soggy stuffing. Okay, so I put a half a cup of water in that. Get that all in the water. Give that a little knead, get everything soaking in water there. Put that off to the side, and I've run out of water, so I'm going to take some hot water from my dispenser. Now I know from my previous video when I showed you how I made these mashed potatoes that it's 1/4 of a cup per square in those molds, modular molds that I used, the plastic ones. So I got 3 squares in here, so that's 3/4 of a cup of water I'm going to put in here. One, two, three, 4. I got 3 O2 absorbers, so I'm guessing I left my O2 absorber in here. And I'm going to get that out if I did. No, it's not in there. Must be my stuffing. When you know it, there it is. Always remember to take your O2 absorber out. I don't think it hurts you any. But you don't want that in your food. Alright, so anyway. Mashed potatoes, 3 squares, so 3/4 of a cup. Take out my O2 absorber. 3/4 of a cup of hot water. Dump that in there. Ziplock that shut. Give that a good knead. Get it down in these little corners here. I warn you, these are hot when you put the hot water in them, but they're designed to withstand the hot water. I'm just making sure all my potatoes get nice and moist. Alright, so we'll let that sit for a minute while I go get my plate. and we'll start plating this up. Okay, what are we going to put out there first? Let's go with my mashed potatoes. I know those just rehydrate so quickly. Now, I'm not going to use my plastic fork because I'm going to use one of these. Just because I can use that plastic fork in something else. In another one of my meals. I'm giving this a good stir. Those are good. And let's put those out on the plate. Now there's a large serving of mashed potatoes, but I just love mashed potatoes. Alright, let's take our stuffing, give that a good knead again, make sure everything's nice and moist. And we'll just put that right. I missed the bottom edge down here. I felt a little bit of dryness. Alright, we'll put that right there. Plenty of stuffing too. Give that a little mix up, because some of it didn't get moisture on that. By the time we go to eat this, it'll be ready. That's good. And my veggies. This was the veggies that were left over from the slow cooker cooking the roast. And I'm just going to drain the water, what's left of it, into here. Put those veggies right there. Ooh, those look good. That leaves us our roast. Ooh, boy, John, you might have overdone the roast on that. There's a lot of roast in there. I'm not going to put all that out there, I don't think. We'll see. Look at all that roast. I'll put it all on. Nah, I'm not gonna. I just could have done 6 of those portions out of that roast, because I still got plenty of it left over in there. That'll make a good sandwich for tomorrow. I'll just leave it like that. We'll put that in the fridge. Now this, I thought, was a stand-up bag. A gusseted bag. Yes, it is. Okay. I was gonna say, I thought that was a gusset. Here's my drink. Let's take our straw and see how easy it is to poke a hole in there. I'm going to open it up. I haven't used one of these before. Oh, it's got a sharp end on the straw. Yep, it goes through there nicely. Thank you, viewer. I wished I could remember your name that suggested those. There you go. Makes a nice little pouch for drinking. Only thing left to do is put this gravy on there. And we are going to do what I call the gravy smother. We're going to put gravy on there, some of my roast beef, oof, some on there, some of that, a lot more on there. I noticed I had a lump come out of there. That must not have rehydrated too well right there. I probably should have stirred that before I dumped it out. Now I want to get a close-up of that. So check that out. Does that look like a Sunday feast or what? My mouth is watering. I can't wait to dig into that. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Let's get some nice roast beef dipped in that gravy. Now, you might have noticed that this gravy, I made it a little bit thicker than I did when I freeze-dried it. Oh my gosh. Roast beef done in a slow cooker just cannot be beat. Let's try my delicious mashed potatoes. This time we got gravy on it. Those are good. How about my peas and carrots with the onions from the pot roast? Those carrots rehydrated beautifully. Now I put those carrots in at the beginning, so they're softer carrots. But I like a softer carrot in my beef pot roast. And a softer carrot rehydrates much, much better than a more firm carrot. Alright, let's try some stuffing. Yeah, stuffing always comes out really well. Like I say, I could have probably added just a little bit more water to that, but I did not want soggy stuffing. But it's rehydrated pretty well. There are a few little dry spots in there, which make them a little bit crunchier. Full of that flavor though. Yeah, definitely put too much roast beef in that package. There's a lot of roast beef there, and I still got almost that much left over. I'm pretty sure I showed you how I made that gravy, but if I didn't, all I did was cook my pot roast. Then the juice from all that I stuck in the refrigerator long enough to get the fat to the top and harden up, which was very, very little because this was a very lean top round roast. No fat at all. But anyway, what did come to the top I skimmed off, and then we thickened it up, brought it to a boil and thickened it up with cornstarch. And it gets pretty thick, as you can see. and reconstitutes thick if you want it thick. Or if you wanted it thinner, you could add more water. That, my friends, is a Sunday roast. Hey, I got some salt and pepper here. I'm gonna put a little bit of salt on my beef and vegetables and potatoes. Might as well use it. Definitely put some pepper on there. Mom would be proud of this. There you go. Have a little bit of sweet tea with that. But I'm not going to bore you with this, but I think you can see that is a feast fit for a king. And I am super happy. I haven't put together a meal in a Mylar bag for a long time. I think it was about time I did. Oh man, I am stuffed. I ate that whole plate. But I forgot to show you my little coins that I have for towelettes. And I got these off Amazon as well. And these would be great in a survival situation. You just take it, and in this case this is hot water, but you can do it in cold water too. You drop it in, and just leave it set while it soaks up there for a second. I'm going to fish that out. That's going to be hot. Ow. It is hot. Fish that out, and check this out. It swells up, steaming hot, and you end up with a nice cloth that you could use to wipe your hands, to wipe your dishes, or other sanitary purposes. And it's a very nice, pretty strong cloth. I mean, it'll tear, but it's pretty strong. Yeah, I always put these in there, and I never show them in the video. I always forget to show you those being used. All right. So, that being said, now I can cut this in there. And now, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you try it, and I hope you come back and watch another one of my videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.